Hello and welcome to one more English lesson. Yeah, as always, thank you very much for being here. And today, we're gonna move on on our history class, right? And of course, the focus of the lesson is English. So just follow me and let's enjoy today because I we have a very interesting lesson. Okay, so let's go on. As always, thanks for everything and let's check it out. Okay, remember that the title of the lesson of the day is the start of the Second World War. We have studied up to now, right? Everything that happens before the Second World War and everything that happened, like the reason for the beginning of the First World War and what happened in the middle of that time. And now we're gonna go like directly to the point, which is the Second World War. Okay, so let's go on and let's check that. Okay, as you can see me here, right? We're gonna begin the reading. Okay, so just follow me, right? As always, I'm gonna highlight some of the areas of the words that I'm going to be reading. So just follow me. Okay, so we begin in this part here, as you can see. 21 years after the armistice that ended the First World War, Europe was at war again. So we can see here that we had that gap of 21 years. Okay, so the Second World War started when Hitler invaded Poland. Officially, officially talking, it was when they invaded. When Hitler, invaded Poland. We know, and we have read before, on the previous pages that there were a lot of how can I say aspects, a lot of things that was happening that everybody knew, like that the war was about to start, but officially was from this little point here. So we have some points, number 1 and 2, as you can see here. So just follow me. On 1st September 1939, Hitler invaded Poland. Britain and France ordered him to leave, but he ignored them, of course, right? Britain declared war on Germany on 3rd September 1939. So that was the official day, yeah? And number 2, the second aspect that we have here is that the invasion of Poland triggered. When we have this word triggered, it comes from trigger, that start, for example, a very good example that people use to you understand trigger is, if you have a gun, and then when you're gonna use it, let me get back to me here. Okay, so let's suppose, okay, this is a gun, right? Okay, and if you are gonna use a gun, there is something here that you trigger, like click, and then you go this, and then you this is the trigger. This what I mean with that, like this, it was like what needed to start. It was like the last push. It was like the little thing that was needed to begin the war. Like everybody was ready for the war. Everybody knew that it was about to start, but it was necessary. Something happened to really goes, to really goes on. And then in this case here, it was the invasion of Poland. So getting back and continuing the Second World War, but other long-term factors, long-term, which means that things that were happening before, right, led to the war, of course, right? Led, it took to the war. It was one of the reasons. This is the meaning of the word led, okay? So you need to know why war broke out again, despite all of the efforts since 1918 to avoid it. Again, officially, when I use the word officially, it means that, like everybody, the news and what everybody was supposed to know, to understand that, especially because of the League of Nations. They were trying to avoid war since 1918. They were doing, they were taking some actions. They were trying to negotiate something to avoid, to not let the war happen. But they couldn't, right? And then we have here, down below, as you can see here on my page here, we have this long-term fact, right? Which is this one here. Okay, sorry. We have this long-term 2 points here, okay, that I'm gonna read for you, okay? I'm gonna read firstly this one long-term fact, like the Treaty of Versailles, and then when I get back to the other side, I make my face disappear. It should not be a problem for you, okay? So follow me. We have 3 we have three information here, so let's go. Number one, again, I am on the long-term factor, Treaty of Versailles 1919. Germans, especially Hitler, or I could say mainly Hitler, right, hated the treaty. This, oh no, in that case was especially Hitler, yeah, because I mean, I as far as we remember and we have studied, like, I mean, I think more than half of German population, they didn't like the treaty, right? The Treaty of Versailles. So, and this resentment, remember, we have studied that word before, resentment, that feeling here, continued throughout the interwar period. Okay, and if you want to get more information, you can go take a look on page 10 and 16. So what was interwar? Okay, that was the first one. The second aspect was new countries were created by the treaty, but they were often unstable. I mean, you know, like they were not really something like, okay, they have like a system, they were working very well. No, they were like, you know, because they were new countries, they were not really 100% right, 100% like you're ready, you know, like to face the problems that countries might face. Okay, 100%, right? And so new countries were created by the treaty, but they were often unstable and vulnerable to German attack. And Hitler knew that. Yeah, Hitler knew this. Because he knew this, is I think this is one of the reasons. Like, he knew that these new countries, they couldn't do anything, so he could take his actions, I mean, freely, right? And number three, the treaty. I remember, yeah, every time that we talk about treaty, we mean the Treaty of Versailles, okay? Caused economic problems for Germany, which fueled, okay? Remember, we have studied this word too. Fuel, just like put gasoline, right? It was like it fueled, yeah? It made the, how can I say, it gave energy, you know, like it gave power to them. I mean, it helped to make it bigger, the resentment, okay, like that feeling, yeah. Again, they lost the war, they were considered guilty, and because of the treaty, and because of all the problems they had already been to, right, been through, actually, yeah, it's a better way to say been through. Now, I mean, this Treaty of Versailles also, okay, also happens to cause then economic problems too, right? So of course they got really angry, right? And then it was one of the reasons, or one of the excuses that they use it, right, for to begin this war, right? So these were a little of the long-term factors, yeah, especially focused on the Treaty of Versailles. But of course, the Treaty of Versailles was not the only reason, okay? Also, we have here the long-term factor, the Great Depression. Again, when we talk about the Great Depression, we are talking about the Wall Street crash. I mean, this financial big problem that happened in USA, in America, right? And then, of course, I'm going to read a little bit about that for you. Okay, but let's go now. I'm going to make my face disappear for a while, right? So just to make it easy for you. So check it out. The Wall Street crash in 1929 caused a global economic crisis. It hit Germany especially hard, stirring up further resentment. It made them even more, I mean, angry, yeah, with the world, right? Because of the economic crisis that happened in USA, in America, and then of course it had some effect on Germany, and they suffered even more, right? And number two, countries prioritize their own economic recoveries. I mean, yeah, trying to get back, right? This made the League less effective. When we talk about the League, we say the League of Nations. This made the League less effective at settling international disputes. Remember, we have already studied about that. Settling international disputes. I mean, the League of Nations, one of the reasons that it was created, it was to try to negotiate, try to keep peace between the countries, right? And the disputes that might happen at that time. And of course, as we have studied so far, right, the League of Nations, I mean, since it was created, yeah, day by day, as the time went on, it was getting weaker, weaker, less effective. I mean, so for sure, the League of Nations wasn't something really successful, right? And then we have this little purple information here, right? As you can see in this part here. And the League's failure also contributed to the outbreak of war. Again, outbreak is like the start, yeah, like the beginning, the explosion of the war. And the lack of a united front against aggression made it easier for Hitler to act. And again, when we say the lack of, when we use that word, the lack of something, it means that there is something missing. Yeah, the lack of water, there is water missing, the lack of power, there is power missing, like we don't have. This is the use of the word lack. And here, the lack of a united front. I mean, there wasn't a front, like a union of countries that could face Hitler, like one-to-one, face-to-face here, and make him stop doing his aggression against the countries. So as all the other countries, they were like not united, they were weaker and very disorganized. Yeah? So it was like a very useful thing, for Hitler. It was very good for Hitler because he could do his craziness almost freely, right? And of course, it made it easier for him. Okay, so this is the beginning. This is the beginning of the explanations, right? And one of the reasons for the outbreak of the Second World War. And again, when we say outbreak, is like the start, the beginning, the explosion of the war. No problem for you guys? I hope not, right? So now we're gonna go to the second part, so just follow me. Sorry, just coming back to you. I forgot. I mentioned that I would give you some, easy explanation about the crash of Wall Street, right? So I'm gonna read two things here for you. Okay, so just listen to me. Number one, what was the reason of the Wall Street crash? Okay, so this is a Google information, okay, just to make it simple and easier. But of course, you can also check it out by yourself. But so the main cause, the main reason of the Wall Street crash of 1929 was the long period of speculation that preceded it, during which millions of people invested their savings or borrowed money to buy stocks, right? Pushing prices to wow, that's a good word, unsustainable levels, okay? Unsustainable levels. I mean, so, and then I'm gonna read one more, and then I give you like and how can I say that, an easy explanation. And what happened in the crash of Wall Street? Okay, we got more or less the reason. And what happened was that on October 29th, 1929, the Black Tuesday, as one of the names that it was known, hit Wall Street as investors traded some 16 million shares on the New York Stock Exchange in a single day, and billions of dollars were lost, wiping out thousands of investors. The next day, the panic selling reached its peak, its top, with some stocks having no buyers at any price. So, just the point here, that the stockbrokers, like the people who works in this stocks, they started selling and buying things because they were afraid of something. Okay, I don't remember exactly, right? How can I say, if it was because of the war or because of some speculation that something would, it's like, imagine, okay, so to make it easy for you, imagine like that we had that in Japan. Remember that when we had this nuclear power plant explosion, and then a lot of people thought that we would have some lack of water, some toilet paper, and then in a week, everybody started getting out and buying toilet papers and water, and then when we went out, there was no toilet paper at all to buy, like there was missing in the stores. So it's something like that happened, but in this money market, okay, in this stock market, okay, just to make it easier for you. What is stock market, teacher? Stock market means o mercado de ações. Quando a gente fala estoque, são ações. Sabe, por exemplo, tem uma big company, Apple. So you can buy stocks from them. Você pode comprar ações, você fica, tipo um parceiro, um franqueado deles, alguma coisa assim. Você tem uma parceria, você tem uma porcentagem ali. Então, o que houve foi que nesse dia um monte de gente começou a sell and buy, vender e comprar, e os preços ficavam subindo, assim, virou uma bagunça, né? Porque eles tinham medo de alguma coisa que houve, okay? And I'm gonna read one last thing here for you. So why did the Wall Street crash lead to depression? Depression is when all the world has like a really, really big, bad economical crisis problem, okay? Financial crisis problem. I mean, like the money goes down and I mean, you know, like this. So listen to that again. Why did the Wall Street crash lead to depression? Known as Black Thursday, the crash was preceded by a period of a phenomenal growth and speculative expansion. I mean, so a lot of products, probably the price, they went up. Yeah. A glut of supply and dissipating demand helped lead to the economic downturns as producers could no longer readily sell their products. You know, like, so that was the problem. People couldn't sell, people couldn't buy, the prices went so high or so low, and then, you know, like there wasn't this stability as we always normally have, okay? Something like that. You know, this is a very superficial explanation, okay, but just so you have an idea what is that, yeah? What is this Wall Street crisis, okay? But at the end, it the effect, yeah, it affected like all of the world, okay? So all the countries, they started suffering and having these economical problems, okay? So but anyway, let's continue to the second part. So just follow me here, yeah, in this first part here. The leaders played their part in the outbreak of war. I mean, so was according to the thing here, yeah, probably not everybody agreed that the only reason for the beginning of the Second World War was because of Hitler. No, Hitler, of course, he had his percentage, but according to some here, I mean, there were more, you know, reasons for that. But let's check it out, and then we can get our conclusion. In the short term, yeah, in a short time period, the outbreak of the Second World War had a lot to do with the actions of individuals, I mean, of each person. There are three important reasons why Hitler can be seen as responsible for the outbreak of a war. So this first information that we have here is that Hitler, you know, he was like directly responsible, and we have three reasons for that, three very good reasons. This is the meaning of three key reasons for that, okay? So number one, he wanted to take new land for Germany from other nations. Example, Czechoslovakia. I mean, take new lands means he wanted to invade different countries and take control over that and attach it to German, right? To Germany, actually. So, I mean, this is a very good reason, right? Invade someone else's country, take control over that, and put it together and say that this belongs to me. That's a very good reason for a war, right? Number two, he was prepared to bully and fight to get what he wanted. Example, Austria. Hitler had an aggressive foreign policy. So, I mean, he was like, I don't care, right? I'm gonna invade your country, I'm gonna take control and whatever, right? So this was his foreign policy, yeah? I mean, a política estrangeira dele, né? Como que ele lidava. Então era a little bit aggressive. So one very good reason. And number three, he rearmed. I mean, he rebuilt his army forces and he built guns, tanks, you know, like military helicopters and all, and armors, you know, and all stuff that is related to self-defense and attack, right? And I mean, Germany to be a military power. This suggests he had always intended, he always, yeah, meant to go to a war with the rest of Europe. I mean, some people say that this, you know, like getting to the war, taking control all of everybody, yeah, like was since the beginning was his idea. So he just didn't show that before. And the last here, yeah, the last information, but many historians argue, yeah, many historians, maybe, you know, they don't have the same opinion, that Hitler is not the only one responsible for the outbreak of war, and that if other people had acted differently, you know, like maybe some other different countries' leaders, yeah, if they had taken different action, maybe, perhaps, war could have been avoided. Maybe they could have done something to not let the war outbreak, the war start, right? Not let it happen. So of course, as we have here this little information, as you can see, if you want to get some more information about Hitler's foreign policy, take a look on page 42, right? So that is this part. So let's go down here a little bit because we have this continuation, right? So Chamberlain, wow, yeah, that's the final part. So just follow me. Chamberlain policy of appeasement, yeah, do you remember who was Chamberlain policy? I mean, a político de quem que era Chamberlain? Remember that? And I mean, I'm gonna read firstly, and then I give you some how can I say friendly reminder. Okay, so Chamberlain policy of appeasement could also be seen as an important cause of World War II. For example, reason number one, his trust in Hitler's promises was shown to be unwise. I mean, we knew that Chamberlain somewhat trust Hitler, on Hitler's promises, but everybody at that time, knew that Hitler was lying. Hitler. I mean, you cannot trust in that guy, right? On that guy. I mean, so it was when we see something that unwise. I mean, is not. If you do something unwise, it means that you do something that looks like a little bit fool, not smart. It is not an intelligent act, almost a stupid act. Okay, this is unwise. Example, Czechoslovakia, right? As far as I remember, I think he let Hitler promised that he wouldn't do anything, but everybody knew that he would do, like that. Number two, Hitler was encouraged by the fact that Chamberlain kept giving him what he wanted, and this pushed him into invade Poland, the immediate cause of war. Yeah, so yeah, we have some good reasons here to believe that Chamberlain also had some part, of I don't know, guiltiness on that, right? And on the other hand, you could argue that Chamberlain made the best decisions he could at the time. See the reasons for appeasement on page 46. You can go back there if you don't remember. Also, even if he only managed to delay war, he did give Britain time to get ready for it, right? So this is a very good one, right? We had some information here about Britain. So do you remember who was Chamberlain? Yeah, I think so, right? It was the prime minister, like a former prime minister of Britain. Okay, so I mean, he did some actions here, right? Again, what I always do, when we are reading, when we are studying history, and especially with focus on English, pay attention on these words that are highlighted, like Chamberlain's policy, appeasement, trust, encourage, immediate cause, unwise, delay, get ready, what are the meaning of these words? So be careful to not misunderstand the story. Like delay is like postpone, is to make something happen later than it should, like maybe because of your fault or something like that, right? And then we have this Stalin, the last part here, right? So just follow me. Stalin, the dictator of the communist USSR, also had a part to play, of course, right? The Nazi-Soviet pact meant that Hitler could invade Poland without worrying about Stalin defending it. I mean, of course we know, right? And however, you could also argue that Britain and France pushed Stalin into a pact with Hitler by excluding him from their own negotiations. This is a very difficult thing, to analyze, because I don't know, through history, through the information that we know nowadays, Stalin, and I mean, in no scenario he was someone that could be believed, could be trusted. So what could they do, right? I don't know if they really had another option, right? But yeah, so of course the USSR had, I mean, in my opinion, this is teacher's opinion, right? But that's why we are analyzing the book and we can get our own opinion about that. USSR is really, has a big part of, yeah, guilty on that, right? So no problem. I hope you have understood this first part, yeah? And this is one of the origins of an outbreak of the Second World War, right? So now we're gonna move on, as always, to the question part, okay? If you don't remember, if you have some problem here, go back, read again, check it out the words, or send me a message, okay? Whatever you want, and let's go on. Let's move on to the next part. Okay, and let's go to our question part. Okay, so as you can see here, the start of the Second World War, right? And let's begin the reading. Okay, so let me get my pencil and let it go. Many different factors led to the outbreak of the Second World War, for sure. Use this page to help you analyze them. So let's see, what were the reasons for that, and let's see if we can answer that, right? So, source analysis. The source below is a cartoon produced in September 1939 by American cartoonist D.R. Fitzpatrick. Okay, so this is the thing. I'm gonna just make my face disappear a little. Okay, no, I'm gonna change it. Actually, I'm gonna go to the other side. Thank you. So again, source analysis. The source below is a cartoon produced in September 1939 by American cartoonist D.R. Fitzpatrick. So number 1, the cartoon is critical of Germany. Explain how each detail in the blue boxes below show this. If the cartoon is critical of Germany, it means that it is criticizing Germany, okay? So we're going to analyze the picture. We're going to analyze what is written on that, okay? Like as we can see here. Let me get a little bit closer just to see if it helps you to better, a little bit, not so much, right? So analyze the picture, right? What do we have here? We have the symbol, of the Nazis. We have Poland here. There is this guy here. And I'm going to read. So analyze by yourself. Again, if you don't know the words, if you don't know anything, send question to me. Okay, so A. Hitler is dressed in a military uniform and standing triumphantly. Okay, I'm gonna play this word for you just so you listen. Okay, because this is a very good one. Listen to that.
Triumphant.
Of course, we have Lee, Indiana, triumphantly. Okay, so what is the meaning of that? I'm gonna read for you. Okay, triumphantly, it's like it's an adverb. Okay, and what is the good explanation for that? Is showing that you are very pleased or excited about a victory or success. Yeah, I mean it's triumph. Yeah? Triunfo in Portuguese, right? So he's standing triumphantly on top of a huge roller in the shape of a Nazi swastika, right? This one, right? This. Do you know a roller? I think we can analyze that, right? It's like the thing that we use, like when we are cooking. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Let me get back to you. So roller is like, do you know? I don't know. Like I think some people use that to cut spaghetti. It's like some metal thing that you put in there. You go zip zip. Okay, I'm gonna give a very simple example of a roller. Okay, this is maybe be a little not so wise. Yeah, maybe a little bit unwise. But you know when you buy pizza, when you order a pizza, and then you get a pizza in your house, and then there's like this wheel, right, shape, and then you have like family members in your house, so you have to cut it, right? I mean, normally we use a knife, or some people they have a roller. Yeah, they go zip 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 like that. But this roller here, it's customized, right? It's in the shape of the swastika Nazi symbol, right? So this is a roller. Okay, I hope you have understood that. If you don't, send me a message. Okay, so coming back. And so this is one very good reason, right? B, here we have the next one. And the roller is dripping with blood. This is heavy, right? And has crushed Poland. I mean, I think I don't have to add any information here, right? Dripping, is when the blood is falling. Little drops of, And C, the last one, which is focusing here, There is a fire. There is fire and destruction in the background. So for sure, right? I don't think it's so difficult to explain that this cartoon is really criticizing Hitler, right? But so analyze the facts, analyze the informations, and then make a description. Okay. Number 2. We have number 2 here, right? Yeah, it's possible to see. The title of the cartoon is End of Act. That's the title. What does this suggest about the German invasion of Poland? Yeah, this invasion, yeah, of Poland by the Germans. The cartoon representing that. Criticizing that the name of that was End of Act. So, what is the suggestion? What does this suggest about this invasion? What is the connection? Why do you think the author wanted to use this name? And probably he meant something. He wanted to say something by using that. So give me your opinion about that. What do you think? So that's all. And going here to this last part, right? This is the final of the first part. Answer this question, and then we have here thinking historically. Okay, so follow me. Let me go down a little bit here. Okay, so again, I'm gonna change my face to the other side to not be a trouble. Okay, so let's go. Number 1, copy and complete the mind map below, explaining how each long-term factor contributed to the outbreak of the Second World War. The same mind map, yeah, I'm gonna give you some information and you have to add information to that. And here, the mind map is about the long-term factor. Remember that we had 2, right? A, the Treaty of Versailles. So what was the contribution, or what were the contributions of this first reason, this first long-term thing here, yeah, the Treaty of Versailles to the beginning of the Second World War. And B, the Great Depression, right? We have read that. We had like just 2 purple boxes explaining and giving details about that. So go back there, check it out, yeah. And what we need to put in our mind map: reasons for the outbreak of the Second World War. Not a big deal, right? Next one, number 2. Explain how each of the following leaders contributed to the outbreak of the Second World War. Again, contributed, of the outbreak. Outbreak means the starting, the beginning, okay? So what leaders are we going to analyze here? Hitler, Chamberlain, which was the prime minister of Britain, and Stalin, the USSR, right, the communist one. Okay, so just analyze these 3 leaders and what were their contributions for the Second World War, actually, right? I think not a big deal too, right? And let's go to the last one here, number 3. Which leader do you think was most responsible for the outbreak of war? Explain your answer. This is a very good question, right? Especially to discuss, like this question for discussion. So we had these 3 leaders, right? Hitler, Chamberlain, and Stalin. So analyze each leader's history, okay? What they did, what were actually their actions, yeah, like, and their influence to the beginning, to the outbreak of the Second World War. And give me your opinion. Who do you think was most responsible for that? I'm really interested in listening to that. Okay, so give me of course, you give the name and give the reason. Okay, why you have to put that. Okay, was Hitler? Why? Was Stalin? Why? Was Chamberlain? Yeah, with his actions that he had before the beginning of the war, and why? So do that for me. Okay, and then we go to this final reading, right, as we always do. Let me get here. Okay, so just follow me. I'm gonna make my face disappear for a second, so just follow me. Exam tip. Here we have a tip for the exam, as always, right? As always we have, so just follow me. The problems that led to the war were tricky to solve. Tricky was very difficult to solve. Was not something easy. So when you are answering questions 4 in the exam, questions 4, okay, think about the links between different factors. Understanding how they are related will help you to judge which one was most important. Again, on question 4, let's see which one is question 4 here. 1, 2, 3, okay. And answering question 4 in the exam, think about the links between, of course, question 4, it is about the exam. Yeah, what we are doing here is just a sample, it's not the real exam, but in the exam you're gonna have that. Okay, so think carefully about that, and then and how they're related, okay, to that will help you judge which one was most important. I think that is the point here, right? So as we always do, right, we do this reading of one of the questions here. Okay, so answer these questions for me, pay attention, analyze carefully, and you don't need to rush, right? Just do that in your time, yeah, in your pace, because it's a very interesting topic and it's something really, really important. Okay, and of course, especially because you're gonna learn a lot of English words. Okay, so that's it for today. Thanks always for your time and for your help. Okay, thanks for being here with me. I hope you have like a very good time, and of course, I see you next time. So guys, thank you very much as always, and see you. Bye bye. Take care, guys.